One man, okay, two men. Sean and Chris spread the word of their people across this vast universe. The word of movies, comic heroes, toys, video games, etc., etc., etc. There are many podcasts, and this is one of them. You're listening to The Geeks Talk Back.
Do not adjust your device. This message brought to you by the United Podcast Alliance.
Hi, I'm Patrick Barman, host of the Imperial Podcasting Feed. Be sure to check us out on iTunes, Podomatic, and YouTube, and follow us at Imperial Pod on Twitter and Facebook.
Hi, this is Jason Hatfield, telling you to listen to the Nerds with Attitudes podcast. Listen to the Nerds on iTunes or at nwak.podbean.com and put some attitude in your life, nerd style.
We now return you to the Geeks Talk Back podcast.
By the power of Grayskull, we're sending you back to the future. Go! Okay, man, let's turn and burn.
Force is strong with this one.
The plaque for the alternate is down in the ladies' room.
Welcome back to the Geeks Talk Back podcast. I am your host, Sean. With me is Chris. And our guest this week is Tanny, the host of the upcoming podcast, If Left Untreated. And I'm not sure if this was a recording issue or what, but we joined the conversation, apparently already in progress. Enjoy. and that's no shit. That's no shit either.
You thought he was dead?
I literally thought he was dead.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because my grandfather had the same name as me, and he died. I don't know. I mean, it was a while back, but still, you see an obituary for Tanny Dan. You know,
Well,
for me,
you gotta admit, Tanny Dander is not that common of a name.
That's not, yeah.
It's not like I had a friend named, Jim Smith.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because, you've always been kind of, tech savvy and computer, kind of like Chris is. And I'd always would look on Facebook and couldn't find you. Look, wherever else online, couldn't find you. And then I found, because I remember, I think you went back to South Carolina, wasn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah, and then I found an obituary for a Tanny Danders who died in like a bicycle/car accident in South Carolina. Oh shit! Well, that explains why he's not online.
Right.
And then
the accident with me on the bicycle was a real thing. The me dying was an exaggeration. That was
well, that or it was your grandfather's obituary, but either way, right. it was really weird. Like, oh my god, he died. That sucks because he was a cool guy, an awesome drummer, and everything else.
Yeah. Right, and got kids, but fuck that. What? Ugh.
Yeah. So and then I can't remember. I just came across Danielle on LinkedIn, and it was just like, hey, I knew your husband Tanny, and knew in the past tense because I thought you were dead and all that. And she's like,
right.
I know he's still alive. I'm like,
Whoa!
Have him get a hold of me. Fuck.
Yeah, it was. I had a good laugh at that when Danielle told me that. That made my fucking day. I was just like, oh, awesome, Sean, and he thought I was dead, which is hilarious.
Yeah, so now you're back from the dead.
You're great.
Okay, meet your new shorter, fatter self here. This is Chris.
Hello, sir.
Shorter.
I'm
I don't
short.
know about that.
Well, actually,
I'm shorter than. I'm not. I'm usually the shortest person around.
Okay, well.
I'm like 5'9", maybe.
Okay,
maybe.
well, Chris is the new Tanny anyway.
That's true. Or I'm the old. Wow, that takes time travel.
Yeah, that's we've already done time travel.
Yeah. So Doc Brown's a murderer.
What's that? Doc Brown's a
murderer.
murderess, right?
What?
Yeah, it was a weird
absolutely.
text combo.
Had to, yeah. Doc Brown has to be a murderer for it to work.
Because, all the new Martys, he had to kill off the Martys as they came in, otherwise there'd be more than
There'd
one.
be more than one.
Yeah.
If you can't go back to the same timeline, you can't actually re-enter a timeline. It's an offshoot of the original timeline.
Yeah.
From wherever something changed.
Yeah, so
he had to get rid of the Marty from the timeline that he put Marty back into. The one with the great truck.
Yeah.
He had to kill that Marty.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like Marty graves everywhere.
Oh yeah. His whole backyard. out in the cave, right behind where the DeLorean was. That's where he.
That's the Marty cave.
Yes, there's Marty's all back in there. It's great.
So are you really a serial killer to keep killing the same person over and over again?
Oh.
Well, I mean, it is many, regardless of you had to do it. Who knows how many different ways? Garrot one time, maybe he knifed him a second. Or maybe he has an MO. Maybe he's got his whole Dexter thing going on. Just wraps them in plastic every single time, slices them up, and who knows what Doc's MO is.
And now I totally envision the DeLorean in the cave, and then there's all these skulls, and he's got like the time, like what year, written in marker on their foreheads of the skulls. And then he's got, 1967 version 1 and version 2, and then 1957 version 2. I was like,
and then the gate alternate Marty and all that. Yeah.
That is so awesome. He also probably had to kill some babies.
Kill some what?
Martys.
Baby Martys. He had to go back in time.
He had to get rid of baby Martys too. and at least one Jennifer died whenever that timeline ended.
Yeah.
He left her on the porch.
He left her on the porch.
Yeah.
So
that movie's a nightmare whenever you really take a look at it. There's all kinds of things going on. He almost has an incestuous relationship with his mother. Like, it's close. It's a close thing.
It almost happened.
His underwear. He was unconscious. She could have had her way with him.
I bet you she did.
Imagine how that would have turned out.
Well, yeah, and then he probably thought about it. No one's ever going to know.
Yeah.
Right? He's back there. What's going on? Come on.
Okay, this went way dark, way early.
That's what he does, though. I mean, this is like old school Tanny right there. Well, I remember back in the day we used to talk about. Go ahead. I said we used to talk back in the day about who would win in metal fights between Phil Anselmo and Hank or Henry Rollins.
Right.
I don't know. I think Henry Rollins would throw down.
Hank always won. He always won.
Really?
Yeah, he always.
Oh yeah.
He's gigantic, and he's Hank Rollins. He's Black Flag. You go to hell.
It got really quiet. It got awkward.
Awkward.
What happened?
It's like.
Well, I stopped talking because Sean started messing with the levels, and I'm like, "What are you doing? I don't want to talk."
Well, Tanny's getting all muddled again.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's because I'm not yelling at my phone right now. So.
Yeah, like the bass turned down, the treble up, and the mids at about 25%.
All right.
So that should about do it.
That report from engineering, Mr. Scott.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm going to switch it up. It's usually Star Wars. But
also
Trek in there.
So you
went Trek.
You went Trek on me. Okay, well tonight, I mean, we don't have any actual topic. We just got what we consider or what we call Rando ramblings. This will be our third one.
Yep.
It's pretty much our.
Is it our third one?
Yeah, because we did the Rando ramblings, all killer, no filler, or all filler, no killer.
Yeah.
And then all filler, no killer strikes back.
Is that what this one is?
No, this is the third one.
Yeah, this is
Return of the something.
Did we do all killer?
Oh, I was going to say Revenge of, but
what's that?
Whichever way you want to go.
What's that?
I was going to say Revenge of, but whichever way you want to go.
No, he's going to go Return of because that was the original name.
Oh, I know. I'm well aware.
Yeah, we don't do prequels here.
No.
I mean,
I know.
We started out. Our first one was episode 4, so that should tell you something.
Oh yeah. I know. I've been listening from pretty much from the beginning.
Okay, so you're
so you're the second listener,
the second fan.
your second.
So that's the second download.
That's the second download. Well, see, technically, let's see.
You're welcome.
I download it. You download it. Amber downloads it.
Tammy does.
Tammy does. That's 4. Mountain Nut is 5. He's 6.
Okay, yeah. So we have like 700 other downloads that we don't know about.
So.
I like that. I like being 6. 6 is a great number. My favorite.
Yeah, and that's the problem though, is that there's no accurate 100% way to see exactly how many downloads you're getting.
Yeah, and that's your department.
Yeah, it's just because iTunes doesn't. There is no reporting feature through iTunes. You have to do it through third parties, and depending on which third party I look at, it's anywhere from 3. Which I'm like, no, that's bullshit, because I know there's at least 5 or 6 that do it. And I get a monthly thing, and it's like, oh, no, you've had 3 downloads. You know, fuck you. My mom downloads too, damn it.
Well, yeah, and then we have like 700 total downloads so far, something like that.
Yeah, well, it depends on... Well, that's from every single podcast we've ever done.
Right.
But yeah, like the pod track... shows we're averaging about 60 to 65 downloads per episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at...
Which worldwide's not shit. So.
Yeah. And then you look at the overall, because we're pushing 800 total downloads,
right?
Which is every single. But then if you go and you look at our website through GoDaddy, you look at the statistics in there, and we're getting, upwards of anywhere from 500 to 750 to 1,000 hits on those files.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it doesn't explain whether or not they're just hitting on it, or because I don't know how it figures out, because you have the ability to stream it as opposed to download it. So
right.
I don't know which way, like it says 700 hits. I don't know if it's actual people downloading it or streaming it, or if a combination of the two. So Sean's getting glassy-eyed.
Yeah, see, Tanny, this is the shit you have to look forward to when you start your podcast. This is the shit you have to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely, because I keep track of things. That's what I do. I look at graphs and charts and such.
Yeah,
but it's not very accurate though. It's like the difference between Fox News and USA Today.
Yeah. The Dow Jones is off like 100 points from one to the other.
Right.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's just money. It's no problem.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yep.
No.
Well, and I think too the problem is that I wanted more control over the website and the back end of things, because I like it in the back end.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
Yeah, we need one of those the horns.
But I wanted more control over the website, because you can go through like the Podomatic, which you made me go through that hell again because you were throwing a bitch fit. But
I said there's only 2 on there. That's all I said.
Yeah,
that's not a bitch fit.
It's a bitch fit. And you can pay them money and they do the whole thing, and I think they give you better statistics. But I'd rather have more control and not be limited to like 500 megabytes at a time. So unless you pay, then it goes up to 2 gigabytes, but I'm like, okay, that's only a handful of episodes.
Right.
So.
All right, well, Tanny, you're our guest, so what do you got for our rando ramblings?
All right, let's see. What am I working with here? What do I have? Pokemon Go.
Pokemon? Okay, go ahead.
Pokemon Go. But this is something that you and I actually discussed a little bit over text.
Oh, about the whole CIA connection?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Pokemon Go was created by Niantic Incorporated, right?
Yeah.
Which used to be a company called Keyhole Incorporated, which is a GPS technology contractor that was funded by InQtel, which is a venture capital firm that is owned by the CIA.
So basically, Pokemon Go is a way for the CIA to get info on everybody's phones.
Interestingly, there was a game called Ingress.
Yeah.
That was the predecessor to Pokemon Go, and it was like almost like a capture the flag kind of spy game, but it used the exact same like layout as Pokemon Go, and yeah, it's pretty much funded by the CIA.
But it never blew up though.
Oh no, not at all. Yeah,
because I honestly I didn't hear about it until I was listening to another podcast that was talking about Pokemon Go, and they brought that up, and I kind of looked into it, and I'm like, okay, that didn't have near the following that. I mean, from my understanding, there's still a couple of hardcore people groups here and there, but
yeah, I downloaded it and tried it. This was, let's see, a year and a half ago, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I downloaded it and tried it, and I was like, oh, well, okay, yeah, this would mean I would walk around, and so I'm definitely not doing that. And so, yeah, and I was pretty much done with it, but it was a neat idea. And then I actually did download Pokemon Go and try that out, too, and came to the same conclusion that I think I walked plenty in it already. So there's no need for tiny little monsters to get me to go along.
Yeah, I cheat. I do it as I'm driving.
Nice. There you go.
But you lie and say you're a passenger?
Oh, hell yeah. No, I would never do that. That's what my kids do. They're like, Dad, I'm out of Pokeballs. Let's go. Because I have it on my phone, and I got up to like level 14, and I was it was something cool and, to do at the time. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of over this now. But yeah, they're like, hey, I need Pokeballs. Let's go. I was like, oh, God damn it. Jump in the car, and they're like, okay, you got to slow down. And I'm like... My daughter's like, I only have like half a kilometer for a 10K egg, and I'm like, okay, but I have to drive it like 3 miles an hour. So, go walk.
It'll only count it if you're going like, it's like under 10 miles an hour or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's the pedometer or whatever. It won't click up the distance unless you're under certain miles per hour. I think my kid said, somebody said it was like 7 or something like that.
You drop them off at a Pokestop 10 miles away and make them walk home.
Walk.
And there you go. They have, if they want to play it so bad.
Yeah.
There you go. You just take a little drive, just, maybe somewhere out in the desert.
Yeah, well, I did finally actually download it.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh my God.
And then played for about, I don't know, like an hour.
Yeah.
And the first time I actually had to get out of the car. I was like, fuck this.
You're like, fuck this. It's too far away.
Well, no, I was actually able to see what it was all about, though.
Yeah.
I saw the map, and then the fucking Pokeballs rated.
Yeah. But all that is that paper toss game we were talking about when we discussed it on the show. It's like,
it was, and I realized I'm really bad at paper toss, apparently, because I sucked at Pokemon Go.
So...
Well, that, and then the black helicopters, and I deleted the app.
Yeah,
so.
You're like, oh shit.
You heard that strange pinging on your phone. Where is that coming from?
Right.
Aha. Now you know.
Well, I mean, because all the phones have GPS built in already.
Sure, absolutely.
What would the...
Okay.
What would the CIA... I mean, what would that app do that the CIA couldn't already do on their own? Like, what would be the benefit? Assuming we're playing, we're going deep, conspiracy theory.
Right, sure.
Assuming the CIA is behind this whole thing, what would they benefit from having however many millions of people having Pokemon Go?
Well, it gives them the ability to ping phone to phone. You know what I mean? To actually use phones to triangulate, because they know where they are, and by setting up Pokestops and gyms, they're actually giving them centralized locations to go to. That now, of course, it all falls apart when you think it's pretty much churches, at least in my part of the country. Are the gyms, because there's literally a church on almost every block in the South.
So
that's the way it is here.
So in the South, the churches are the gyms, not the Pokestops?
Yeah, well, they can be gyms or Pokestops.
Okay, because up here...
churches, libraries, of course.
Yeah.
Some businesses are actually paying to make themselves Pokestops.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Especially I live in a college town.
Oh, geez.
And so you get down in the middle of town, a place called 5 Points, and it's all college kids, and they all walk around staring at their phones.
The zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're already there.
And then you have bars actually paying to make themselves Pokestops. Like, and there's like apparently like a waiting list for that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's good marketing.
To get on to actually get a Pokestop at your place, because then people will just come and sit.
Yeah.
And and use their little lures and all that kind of. Yeah, I know way too much about this game. I actually did play it for a couple of days. So
no, I like I said, I got up to level like 14 or 15, and I played for like 3 months going on. So
I played for a couple of hours. That was it.
So yeah, but you're right, because right now, in order to triangulate, it just bases it off of towers.
Correct.
So
right.
if you had more towers or more locations that were set,
you're putting because you're putting a program into the phone. Pokemon Go is a program, right? You're putting a program into the phone. Then that program can talk to the programs of other phones around it, and then use that as a method of creating maps of people.
Yeah.
And using that to put the phones together to get other information. Who knows?
Yeah, and it has access to the camera.
Right. I certainly don't, because I'm not a CIA agent. Or even there, so I don't know. Or am I?
Yeah. Ooh.
So now, could the CIA actually put like a rare Pokemon in an area where they know somebody that they want to assassinate is at?
Absolutely.
So they show up and.
I mean, look, people have already been using that to commit robberies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe all of those robberies, and all of those murders, and all of those attacks
were assassinations.
No, they're all just a cover for when the CIA actually wants to assassinate somebody.
Could be.
We're gonna have to pin all those on Niantic.
That's right.
That's them. Yeah. Or that Charmander looks pretty fucking shifty. That guy. For sure.
Oh shit. That makes you think, though. Makes you think.
Well, I try not to, but yeah.
But yeah, back to the bars. I know there's a couple places in Reno that they're marketing the shit out of it and getting people they're like, oh, we're putting in lures here. Come out to our radio station specifically. They're like, hey, we're having this event. We'll put out there's 3 Pokestops and within this area, and we're putting lures in every hour, and come out and support our radio station and be a patron of XYZ bar. And so a lot of people are using it for marketing. So
oh yeah.
But,
yeah, I played for a couple hours, and the first time I had to actually walk, I was like, screw this.
That's right. I do. I get enough exercise. Don't trick me into exercising Pokemon Go. That's why I hate the Wii. Shit's trying to trick you into exercise.
That fucking tennis game. God damn, that'll wear your ass out quick.
I will exercise on my own good time. Thank you very much.
Something burning?
Yeah, I saw something burning.
Tammy's
cooking.
Oh,
sorry, that's me.
Tammy's cooking. I wonder if the house is on fire.
She's cooking.
So that's not a good thing then.
No, probably not.
Well, she's usually a good cook, so something's burning, something's up.
So I wonder what Pokemon Go has that the other game didn't, other than Pokemon, because it's brought people that have could care less about Pokemon, because I could care less about Pokemon.
Well,
yeah, I've never cared about it.
I mean, it had marketing. Absolutely, that was 100% what it had, because Ingress had no marketing.
Yeah,
there was nothing. And it was really basic, too. I mean, Pokemon Go, let's face it, is pretty basic anyway. But Ingress was truly just, it was basically like playing a game with Google Maps. That was kind of what it was. Yeah, and then, you slap some Pokemon on it and do some marketing. You get the kids interested. The kids get their parents interested.
The next thing you know, you've made $100 billion.
And there's no effort whatsoever, because it's all on your phone.
Right, in microtransactions, for something that the most complicated thing is flicking your finger up the screen, and the microtransactions are making them millions and millions of dollars.
Why can't I come up with some shit?
Yay,
like that?
Capitalism!
Yay, capitalism! But it's all the CIA's fault.
Absolutely. I mean, they wanted it to happen anyway. I don't know that they're necessarily going to use it for any nefarious purposes. And why do we always assume that the CIA has nefarious, goals?
Well,
Don't you think that?
it's
We
the
always
whole.
think that, though.
Well, yeah, it's the whole cloak and dagger, black ops sort of thing.
We think they're always up to no good, but we could just as easily turn that around and say, I wonder if the CIA is working through all of these things in Pokemon Go to make us safer somehow. Maybe that's what their goal actually is. But we never think that. It's always, the CIA is doing something. They're trying to track us. They're tracking us down.
So,
I think it would be close to the other direction.
Well, the reason why is because you never see billboards. Hey, this new device brought to you by the CIA. It's always, you hear about it through the Freedom of Information Act, or you hear about it through Snopes or conspiracy.com or whatever.
Yes.
Right, and unless you go to you can go and look up what companies in QTEL funds. They are literally just part of the CIA. It's a venture capital firm that funds all these things. And you can go and look at the hundreds of companies that they put money into.
So is it kind of like DARPA, where they're funding research that they don't necessarily want to take on themselves, but it's through the government?
Right. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what they do. Well, like the one that we're talking about with Niantic. It used to be Keyhole. Keyhole was a GPS technology company. That's all it was. That was interesting to the CIA because they wanted to make their GPS better, of course.
Gotcha.
But it's much more fun to think that maybe the CIA is, tracking us all with Pokemon. Yeah. That's more fun. So we go down that road.
Well, and I think you nailed it when you said you have to go and look and see.
Yeah.
Because if it's more, transparent, it's more, above board. But if you have to go and find it, obviously it's nefarious.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. People like to make conspiracy theories, myself included. I have been.
No, get out.
Guilty of that myself.
You?
And but the thing is, our government actually is pretty. They're pretty clear about what they're doing most of the time. You can find information about almost anything that's going on. I mean, other than obviously things that are secret and have to be secret to, protect soldiers, for instance. Things like that. But mostly, they're pretty transparent.
Why is it always the CIA,
it's not
though?
As bad as the media makes you think it is.
Like,
what's that?
I wonder why the fallback is always the CIA. Like, you never it's not the FBI's tracking us. It's not the NSA. It's always CIA. I mean, everybody wants to point at that.
Well, right, because the CIA is considered to be more of a spy agency. The FBI is it used to be what
federal police.
Yeah.
Now, right? They're like the home police. The FBI is not going out of the country.
Yeah, the FBI's jurisdiction is in country. The CIA's jurisdiction is outside of the country.
Right, the CIA was basically running the Vietnam War, for instance.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, yeah, we get that idea about the CIA because they're much more kind of an in-your-face spy agency.
Well, it's in your face, but
the FBI is basically like cops.
Yeah, it's in your face, but at the same time, we don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Well, right, except for the movies, make up all these things about them, even if they're not from our country. James Bond is 007. He's the Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's the CIA of England. That's the CIA of Great Britain. Mm-hmm. So that's the idea you should be, that's what we think of when we think of CIA over here is, they're like Jason Bourne,
Yeah, exactly. That's what the CIA is doing.
That's what they're doing. They've got assassins and, guys who are programmed to, be sleeper cells and all that, which is probably nonsense, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it gets the imaginative juice flowing, and like you said, the conspiracy theorists like to run wild with it. And,
oh yeah.
So what I just realized? We didn't even do an intro or introduce this dude. Tanny has got no introduction whatsoever.
I was thinking about that. Yeah. I was gonna record one after and do
we didn't even do the hey, Sean, Chris, nothing.
No,
we didn't. You're just going to have to cut one from an old episode.
That's Sean and Chris. I'm Tanny.
I'm Sean.
I'm Chris.
And we are the Geeks Talk Back and the upcoming If Left Untreated podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to do a podcast?
I was considering it. I've gone through a couple of iterations of what I actually want it to be.
Nice.
It was originally going to be kind of like what my blog is, which is kind of pop culture from the point of view of somebody who's kind of a comic book nerd, loves music, that kind of thing. And so I was doing that a little bit. Oh, and I love writing.
Wow.
I love words. So I have a lot of fun with wordplay in the blog, and I wanted to do something like a podcast, kind of like that. And I realized after recording the first one, which does not exist anymore, by the way, I'll just let you know that now, that doing a podcast by yourself
sucks.
Is a shit show.
Yeah.
It is the worst. It will be I don't give a fuck who you are, how fucking charismatic you are. Well, okay, that's not true. There are people who can pull it off, but very few.
Yeah.
You not having anyone to bounce anything off of is awful.
Yeah, it's that back and forth rapport and playing off of each other. And
well, find anybody, find anyone.
Make your wife do it.
Yeah, use Danielle, whatever. It's
right. Oh, well, I do have a couple of friends as well who are. I was probably going to be doing kind of a rotating host thing with me always there, and then bring other folks in.
Tell him to stop being a bitch and do it, because that's the way I was. I was no.
Chris was the bitch.
I am a bitch.
No, that was Chris though, because I was telling him we should do a podcast. We could totally do this. Like, what do we talk about? What we always talk about.
Right, we'll just sit here and bullshit. Right,
pretty much, yeah.
Well, yeah, and then a lot of the feedback that we've gotten from actually people at work listen to us as well. They said, "Well, it's just like listening to you guys talk at work."
Yeah, I wish we would have recorded that original Back to the Future talk. God damn it.
Yeah, well, that was just a 3 a.m. we're bored talk. Yes. But that's pretty much what started the whole podcast idea.
Yep, that's what we had 2.5, 3 hour discussion with whiteboard and diagrams and all that shit. And I asked Sean, what are we going to talk about? Because I was hemming and hawing because I hate the way my voice sounds. And
your voice is sexy, baby.
Thank you, baby.
Good to go. No problem.
And he's like, basically his reference was to our conversation about Back to the Future at work. And I'm like, okay, fuck, you're right. We do have some good conversations. So, and here we are almost a year later.
Yeah, damn near.
Yeah. So, if we could just come up with some consistent time to record, that's what's been killing us.
Yeah, but I think life happened in between there.
Yeah. Well, you got, engaged and
selling the house,
buying
moving,
the house,
and
moving, and
fixing up that said house, and yeah, it's just been a nightmare.
So, all right, so I think we killed the CIA Pokemon Go conspiracy.
Yeah. Definitely.
What else you got?
Hey, wait a minute. Round robin this month.
All right, I'll go this time.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, well, last time we're talking about actually Pokemon Go. This is a perfect segue into it. This is perfect.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't write this one.
All right.
Well, you could, but
well, you didn't though. I mean,
why would you say it?
Well, no, because during last episode, I asked Chris about the whole Pokemon Go thing, and we're talking about someone breaking into the neighbor's house. No, I wasn't breaking in to steal the stereo. I was breaking in to get the rare Pokemon. So using the Pokemon defense. And then I referenced the Twinkie defense. And Chris had never heard the Twinkie defense before. So I printed off of, that wasn't me. I printed off of off of Snopes, the origin of the Twinkie defense. Okay.
Let's hear it.
So from Snopes, the origin is, on 27 November 1978, Dan White, a former San Francisco city supervisor who had recently resigned his position, entered San Francisco City Hall by climbing through a basement window and then shot and killed both Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk. After White's subsequent trial for the murders, a new term entered the American lexicon, Twinkie defense. This phrase came to represent the efforts of criminals to avoid responsibility for their actions by claiming that some external force beyond their control had caused them to act in the way they had, and it arose from the successful defense mounted by White's legal team that White's eating of Twinkies and other sugar-laden junk foods had diminished his mental capacity. Twinkie defense is now a widespread, commonly recognized term is also a term based on something that never happened. And Snopes is
Confirming it?
no, false.
Oh, so there's no such thing as a Twiggy defense.
No such thing.
No, it was his depression, which allowed a lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter, or a lesser conviction of voluntary manslaughter to be his conviction rather than murder.
I was going to say, because at this day and age, because that was what, the 70s?
78, right?
Okay, 78. So we're pushing 20, 30, 35 years. Because,
Well, 40 years.
well, 40 years, whatever.
Who's
40.
Math. Numbers are hard.
who's mathing over here?
Yeah. So since then, people have tried to blame any number of events on alcohol or, drugs or,
Right.
How about affluenza?
there you go. The
That's
flu.
my favorite.
I had the flu.
No, that's
No.
that's influenza.
Affluenza.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that the kid used when I don't actually remember what the crime was that he committed, but his defense was that he is incredibly rich and didn't know any better because he didn't have to deal with those kinds of things.
Jesus.
He got off.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the Twiggy defense is kind of like a catch-all for any external
Gotcha. Okay.
factor that makes it not your fault.
Okay. I was going to say, because...
Like the devil made me do it.
The devil made me do it. So basically, that's the 1978 equivalent of the insanity plea. The Twinkies made me do it.
More or less.
When you said Harvey Milk, I thought it was like a gay slur. A Twinkie defense.
Oh.
Well, no, it's funny. It's funny you mention that though, because one of the sources was from Newsweek from 1978. It was a night of gay rage was an article name. So I mean, maybe it was.
Ah. Conspiracy.
Once again, the conspiracy
CIA.
raises its ugly head.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, so the Twinkie defense is actually now false
Okay.
per Snopes, which just seems to be pretty reliable.
Yeah, because anything you read on the internet is true.
No, but Snopes is pretty.
I'm like 75-25 on Snopes.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
All right, what do you got then?
what do I got? All right, so we're going to discuss the iPhone 7 and the lack of the headphone jack in the new iPhone 7. What are your thoughts?
Well,
I have very little, so I'll go first if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I have very little. I am not an iPhone. I'm an Android.
Oh,
So all I will
thought
say
I smelled
is
something.
Is that right? All I will say is that the 7. I have a Galaxy S5. In fact, is the phone that I use, and it's still fucking fantastic 2 years later. But the S7.
is that the one that's blowing up?
That is the one that the batteries are melting on.
They're overcharging and
Oh, so it's literally blowing up.
oh, it's literally blowing up like the new
Yeah,
the new S7's.
It's like getting so hot that it
Yeah.
sets on fire.
Oh shit!
Yeah, there's something funky in the battery that's not telling it to stop charging. And if you plug it in and leave it overnight, people are waking up because their batteries are exploding and catching fire.
Oh shit!
Yep.
So, yeah,
That's
how-
mostly because people are dumb.
yeah.
But also products shouldn't do that probably.
No.
But anyway,
Bad PR.
back to you on the iPhone there.
Well,
Okay, well, since I'm curious, since you are an Android user and my whole family and Sean's family are iPhone users,
Uh-huh.
in past the iPhone has not so much recently, but when it first came out, it quote unquote revolutionized. Wow, I can't talk today. The concept of a smartphone. Do you think, or do you see Android and the Galaxies and other manufacturers taking that same route, or do you think that they've seen the backlash that iPhone and Apple are getting, and they won't do it? What is your take on that as a non-iPhone user? Did we lose Tanny?
hello.
Still here.
Oh,
Oh, he's there.
Well, what do you mean exactly? You're what?
Okay, so like I've basically when the iPhone came out, there was already quote unquote smartphones.
Right.
But
Yeah,
iPhone
PDFs.
correct, PDAs, BlackBerry, BlackBerry, and all that. But when the iPhone came out, it kind of it took because BlackBerry was all cool if you were a uh, a business person. It was mainly used by a business market
And the government.
and the government.
It's still, in fact, the government still used like the White House and Congress. They all use BlackBerry still.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's keeping BlackBerry alive at this point.
Right, absolutely, government contract.
Yep. Anyway, but when the iPhone came out, that brought it to mainstream. To the masses of us that aren't government employees and cool businessmen. But a lot of, that's when you had people like Samsung and the various other manufacturers kind of emulating what the iPhone was doing and taking cues from what the iPhone had did with the touchscreens and the cameras and whatnot. Now, do you see, like, the Galaxy S, let's say 8, do you see them going to a no 3.5 millimeter jack just like the iPhone?
No, what really the difference? Because when you look at the price of, let's use Samsung because that's what I use as an example. If you look at the price of a Samsung phone versus the same generation iPhone, they're the same. They cost the same amount of money. They're both pretty much the same thing. I honestly think there's kind of a class thing involved in the reason people choose which one, and also maybe if you weren't comfortable with Apple products before the iPhone came out, you maybe didn't get on board with it. You know what I mean? Did you ever? What kind of computer did you use?
See, and that's
Mac.
I'm the exact opposite of that because I absolutely despise Apple computers. I'm a PC user. I always have been, always will be. I mean, other than the fact, my first computer was an Apple IIgs that I learned how to program and code on. But ever since then, and this is 20, 25 years ago, I've been building PCs and using nothing but PCs. But when when I got a hold of the iPhone, I was like, okay, this is easy to use. It's, I enjoyed the interface. It's very neat. I can do the things that I want to do with it with various apps. Granted, it doesn't have some of the functionality that I could mess around with it because I have messed around with Androids as well. There's a couple of little things, but at this point, I have a 6S now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iPhones. So I'm so bought into the Apple infrastructure as far as movies and games and
you actually have accounts with iTunes. I don't have an iTunes account.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't. I mean, I'm on Android and I don't even have one. I do have a one on the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
So it's basically choosing Google or Apple. Yeah. Honestly, at this point, and I don't know. I've never used Apple devices, even back, before smartphones. I never used Apple computers. I never used anything. And so for me, and I think I was a little too old and in the wrong tax bracket for iPhone whenever they first came out.
Yeah, they were.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I didn't have a first. I had the second or third one in before I got one.
Yeah, so I was, meanwhile you could get a Samsung for, back in the day, again, aging myself a little bit, but you could get a Samsung phone or pretty LG or whatever. They all kind of came out at the same time. You could get one of those phones for half what an iPhone costs.
Yeah, and go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'd say my first smartphone was an LG Android phone, and at the same time, my ex-wife at the time, she had a iPhone 3GS, so I was able to literally side by side compare.
Yeah.
And my Android phone was kind of like the Apple, only not quite as good. Almost like the
not refined. It was not. It did the same, but it was less refined.
Absolutely, yeah. The Apple was much more smooth.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting rid of the Android and actually getting the 3GS as well. Now I'm on my 4th iPhone.
Yeah.
and I'm not looking back. But to answer your question as far as the headphone jack,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the main reason why they went for the no headphone jack, I thought I read, were they to make it more waterproof.
Right.
And also, I mean, it is data technology, and since they own Beats by Dre, they're trying to push the more Bluetooth option.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they're charging $150 for a pair of Bluetooth headphones now.
Right, but again, the iPhone 7 does have the Lightning adapter for the 3.5 millimeter.
So that means you can't charge while you're listening is the problem.
I don't know.
Right. Well, you shouldn't be. I mean, you shouldn't be charging your phone and listening at the same time anyway. Don't you know that?
I do it all the time.
Terrible idea.
I do it laying in bed watching
It's
videos.
destroy your battery, sir.
That's fine.
I'm Mr. Battery Safety all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, since your phone's blowing up.
I was gonna say since the generation.
Right. I get to be dad.
Yeah.
I get to be dad. Like
turn these damn lights off.
Well, I'm just looking at it.
My phone while it's plugged in.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Don't touch the thermostat.
Don't touch the thermostat.
Right.
Are we giving air conditioning to the whole neighborhood?
Right. I actually did have one of my kids like look at me like I was crazy when I was like, "Close the door, the air conditioner's on," and they were like, they didn't get the connection right away. Jesus. And we're talking about like teenagers, too. Smart teenagers. These are good kids with like who were getting a good education, and looked at me like I was crazy. It was like, "What do you mean?" Well, if the cold air goes out and the warm air,
just close the door. I'm dead. Damn it!
Just close it. We don't need to talk about it. Right.
And I just, and granted, like I said, Apple revolutionized a couple of things, but like they haven't done anything big in the last couple of years. It's just been, the next iteration is, it's got a new chip. Oh, we're gonna change the size. The camera.
Getting into that is getting into where something that's kind of near and dear to me, and may come as sacrilege to my esteemed colleague over there with his gigantic collection of toys and such. But I am actually an anti-consumerist. I actually don't buy stuff, and I don't believe that, for instance, phones. I don't think we need a new one every year.
Oh, I would absolutely agree.
I don't think we necessarily need a new one every 2 years.
No,
but I think that's what keeps the market rolling along.
Well, yeah, I mean, even
just buying stuff, and it's unfortunately not particularly. It's not sustainable. It's not.
I mean,
it's not a sustainable system. And I've turned it into a PSA now. I wear mini hats.
Don't buy anything, people.
That's right. Stop buying stuff right now.
Well, and even
absolutely not. Of course not. That's not what. But buying things from people on eBay, for instance, buying from other people rather than buying brand new things.
Oh, yeah. I live on eBay.
Yeah,
exactly. See, so that's where we can meet in the middle, because while I think you do have some kind of illness, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure I do.
Oh yeah, yes.
I'm sure there is a doctor out there that would love to get a hold of your head.
No,
but
I'm fine with it though.
There are problems. Well, of course you are, because you're crazy. But but no, of course, doing it on eBay is way better than, for instance, going to Amazon or whatever, unless you are get the donation page through Amazon, which is a really good idea, and I'm thinking of doing that on my podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking at, there's 5, me and my wife plus 3 kids. Each one of us has an iPhone. So that's 5 iPhones of various states, because they don't get new ones. They get my old hand-me-downs, and Daddy gets the upgrade. But I'm looking at, I can count off the top of my head at least 17 pairs of earbuds. Because literally between charging cables and earbuds, I want to say I buy at least 3 sets of earbuds and 3 charging cables every single month. And at $150 a pop for wireless, I'm like,
oy vey.
That's
for what?
Because with the iPhone 7, it's got to be the wireless ones.
Unless you use that
unless you use that adapter. But the way my kids are, I'm gonna be buying fucking adapters.
Well, don't buy an iPhone 7 then.
Sir,
Well,
you have been enslaved by the Apple Corporation.
I have. I totally have. Like
You are Steve Jobs' bitch.
I am Steve Jobs'
You
bitch.
are.
But like I said, but the funny thing is, I've never owned other than an Apple IIgs, which was a hand-me-down 25 years ago. I've never bought another Apple byproduct. I have iPhones, and I had just recently bought a used second generation iPad because I like to watch YouTube laying in bed. And Amber, my wife, has the 6S Plus,
The Duke.
quoting
Adam Savage.
Will Smith is
Will Smith.
Yeah, and it was just
My wife and I have that same situation. I have the regular Galaxy phone, and she has the Note.
So it's the big
has
phablet.
Yeah, she has the Note 4, I think, is the one that she has right now.
So is that a small tablet or a giant phone?
It's
actually just a little bit bigger. It's not just. I work with a guy. My boss. He's a very large man. He's probably 350, 400.
Wow.
Really big guy. Yeah. Oh yeah, big dude.
That's pushing some weight.
Yeah.
Because I'm 250, and that's
hands just kielbasa. Giant hands, big neck and head, no real neck, just straight to the head, and it's kind of a little pointy. But that's not really.
That's not the point.
That's nothing to do with what I'm actually trying to tell you about him. It's the fact that he has these gigantic hands. He has his phone, my phone, could fit inside of it like Earth fits inside of Jupiter. It's like that kind of difference. But when he holds it up to his head, because it's one of those I think they call them phablets.
Yeah, phablet.
Fabulous tablets.
No, it's the combination of phone and tablet.
I prefer Fabulous.
I like fabulous.
I don't like fabulous.
It's fabulous.
Fabulous. Thanks for asking.
So, but anyway, when this guy uses his phone, it looks totally normal. When I use it, it's I have to hold it with two hands, like one of those big 1980s jobbies.
Or those giant toothbrushes.
Yeah, that thing is so. Yeah, I want one of those. The big brick phone. That would be beautiful. Just walk down the street, all fucking Miami Vice, pull that shit out. What's up?
I actually saw there was a accessory you could buy for your iPhone or Android or whatever, and you actually plugged it in to one of those Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
And you just walked around and talk. I was like, oh, I would so get one of those.
Exactly what I need. That's right.
All right.
It's got the little wire going from the side.
Well, I saw today that there's because we started watching Stranger Things on Netflix.
No.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi show that started. Okay. It was big in Salt Lake. Everything was Stranger Things at the Comic-Con. But we started watching it today, and then it starts 1983, and there's rotary phones. So I started Googling, will those still work today? And then you actually buy a digital converter to use an old rotary phone over VoIP.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, if you just plugged it into a landline, would it still work?
Yes, that would still work.
Okay.
Sure.
But anything digital, you got to have a converter for it.
You have to have a converter for it. Okay.
Wow.
Well, I think we killed the phone thing. Tanny, back to you. Round robin. Let's go.
Back to me. All right. Let's see. I don't know how much information anybody has about this, but I'm just going to throw it out there and get some opinions about it.
We'll talk about it.
Well, yes, we will. How about let's just talk about Rogue One.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of Star Wars ones, in fact, and right?
What?
I know. Thank God you were sitting down.
Thank God I was sitting down.
And I think I'm pretty much in the minority when it comes to that because everyone has their opinions about what they want to see. I want to see this. I want to see that. I hope that so and so is this. I hope whatever. I just want to see Star Wars.
I don't care about Rogue One either.
Oh, I care about Rogue One. I care about Rogue One.
I guess that comes off a little harsh. I'm going to go see it. We're going to go see it. We're going to do day one. We'll podcast about it because it's in December. It's 3 months away. But I want to
see some fucking dead Bossons, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But I don't.
That was Jedi. That was Death Star 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Easy there, don't.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I just expose you?
Just exposed. But some of the offshoot, it almost looks to me like it's an extended universe offshoot that I'm just not really into. I like I never got into any of the books, the extended universe stuff, or any of the cartoons or anything like that. Basically, for me, it's the Star Wars trilogy.
Right.
And
I'm an EU nut.
What's that?
I'm EU nut.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I've read everything. All of the extended universe, everything I can get my hands on.
See,
I've read all of the novels. I've read the comic books.
Okay.
I devoured them over the last 25 years. I have done. I mean, I read a lot.
That's why you two get along so well. So
right.
You're Star Wars freaks.
But that is,
and also musicians.
Yeah.
I'm a drummer. My kids are also drummers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, just a little side note. Who's the best author, do you think, in the expanded universe?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh man, what is her name? Karen. Oh man, I feel terrible because she really is my favorite. Her first name is Karen. I have to look it up. Anyway,
it's all Greek to me because I haven't read them either. But.
Yeah. I can tell you she wrote the Imperial Command. Well, not even Imperial. Before that, even Republic Commando novels, and they are fantastic. They're basically about the special forces of the clones.
Oh, okay.
And it gives this whole background of how the clones are steeped in the culture, the Mandalorian culture. They have all of this stuff. A lot of their teachers were Mandalorians. A lot of the people that Jango Fett brought in to teach them.
See, now you're talking about the prequels, and Sean's glicing his eyes.
Yeah,
and rolling his eyes.
You lost me at clones.
Yes.
Well, but it's a beautiful thing because it gives this look into more than about the clones. It gives a look into Mandalorian culture, which I find fascinating. That's what it is because a lot of it takes place on Mandalore. A lot of it is very much to do with the politics and the kind of the wartime habits of the Mandalorians, and that's always been kind of one of my favorite. Yours too, Sean. I know you got the armor. So, that's really the main thing. And it just so happens that it's about the clones because they're clones of Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Karen Travis, by the way, is the name of the author.
Okay.
If you wanted to check that out. I know Sean won't just out of principle, but it's good stuff.
Well, I'll take a look at it.
Imagine your stormtroopers with way better aim.
Oh.
Yeah, so Chris will look into it, and I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, back to the Rogue One. It's like I said, it's not that I'm not going to go see it. It's not that I'm going to, but I don't have that feeling in the heart of my goodiness that I did with Episode 7.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm more looking at the next episode as opposed to these what they're quote unquote because they're alternating years where we had Episode 7 last year. Mm-hmm. We're going to have what they're calling a Star Wars story. The next year, and then back to another episode. So it'll be some Star Wars filler, but I want the killer,
right?
To reference.
Yeah. But
for sure, it's a little, aperitif. It's a little something for your an amuse-bouche between courses, So we'll get there to the big event, but I like having a little taste of Star Wars in between.
Well, yeah, and then
and especially whenever it's kind of a smaller story, something that is kind of different than we've seen in the Star Wars universe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely different.
This little almost vignette of a story.
Yeah,
it's just a little moment in time. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, and
I like that idea.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a like a dash of prequel with more of a Star Wars story.
Yeah,
and
it's going to fill in some gaps somewhere.
Well, and the big problem too, in the end of Episode 3, you've got Darth Vader and the Emperor seeing the Death Star being built. Episode 4, Darth Vader's already a badass.
Yeah, the Death Star's already built.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
You missed the years in between, for sure.
Yeah, like how did Vader become so feared? How did he become a badass? What did he go through to become such a badass?
Yeah.
Graphic novels.
What's that?
Graphic novels.
Well, see, for me, you know,
that's how he became that way.
I will not use the C word just because I hate the word because it's overused so much. But using just the movies as the vehicle for the story, not the graphic novels, not the comics, not the novels,
just
anything else.
Canon.
Yeah, again, it's the C word. I hate using
canon.
I hate that word. It is used so much. But you know, just seeing how Vader became Vader.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, because it's what? Luke Skywalker's 17, 16?
yeah, 17, 18 years old, something like that.
So at the beginning of Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
Episode 4, the real Star Wars. So he was born at the end of Episode 3. So there's, what happened in that 17 years that makes...
A lot of badassery, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to see some of that badassery. You know,
You
I don't want to read about it.
I see a lot of raping and pillaging.
I'd love to see a movie. I think even more than a Han Solo movie, I want to see a Vader movie. I want to see a movie
absolutely.
about Vader being a beast. I would watch that. I would watch that 2.5 hour J.J. Abrams fucking monstrosity any day of the week. Give it to me.
Yeah.
I will watch 2.5 hours of Darth Vader just wrecking shit.
Yeah, that's a Star Wars story that I would get behind.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm totally on board with the Han Solo flick too. They're working on that thing. I think that's the one that's going to be in between episode
8 and 9.
7
or
no, yeah, 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
Yeah, because between 7 and 8 is the Rogue One.
Is
The
Rogue
8
One.
and 9 is Han Solo.
And then there are at the very least rumors about a Fett picture, which would be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and
I could take a look.
I also heard rumors of
I
also heard rumors of a Yoda movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I cannot deal with 2 hours of Yoda syntax.
Well, yeah, they're. They've got somewhere like they've got the Star Wars flicks planned one a year till 2021 at least.
But I mean, a Yoda flick, I will walk out. I will.
Oh shit.
No, but everyone has their own opinions about what they want to see in Rogue One. I want to see this. I want to see Vader do that. I just want to see Star Wars. I don't really have any. I don't really have any anticipations. I don't have any.
Yeah. More X-wings, more Jedi, more lightsabers.
Yeah, or
I
could do without Jedi even.
I'd love to see, and I think we're gonna get to. And this is the fucking callback. I apologize to you guys for this. I want to see the CIA of the fucking Star Wars universe, man. And that's what Rogue One's about.
Yeah.
Rogue One is a spy. It's about spy shit. Like special agents of the
rebel spies.
The rebellion
Yeah.
going in and being badass spies. It's like the Bourne Identity in space. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm on board. Let's make this happen. That's a great idea. Now, I have heard that there's been some issues on set with their filming, that they were like the dailies they were getting weren't all that great. So they were having problems kind of making it.
Yeah, and
work.
you're getting real muffled, man.
Oh, am I? How about now?
That's better.
Hey, there I am.
Now turn it down.
And he's back.
Hey. Anyway, yeah, what I was saying was there have been, I guess, reports of like it wasn't going well on set with that movie. I mean, this was a while back now that I was reading about it, but just that they weren't it wasn't clicking. It wasn't going right. They weren't liking the dailies on it.
Really?
And then they were reshooting stuff, and I don't know where it's at this point. I haven't seen much on it lately, but I hope that it's really good, because to have even a halfway Star Wars movie kind of suck is gonna be bad. I don't want a sucky Star Wars movie. I mean, we've already had a couple of those.
3.
I will defend Revenge of the Sith. And actually, have you ever heard of the machete order?
Yes, I have.
What I'm talking about then?
What's that?
I think that's actually a good use for the prequels. The machete, using the machete order, which is what is it? You watch episodes 4 and 5, and then you watch episodes
2 and 3,
2 and 3, and then 6, and don't watch episode 1 at all.
1 we can.
All because episode 1 is pointless. It means nothing. It does nothing for the story at all, except for discovering Anakin. But you already know that if you watch episode 2.
Yeah.
So
if you watch episode 4, you know he's Anakin Skywalker.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't need all that Padme, that weird relationship between a teenage girl and a small boy, and
no pod racing.
No pod racing.
Fuck no pod racing. I can totally get behind getting rid of that episode altogether. But the machete order is actually a pretty cool.
Oh Jesus! Really?
That was my bad.
You set your alarm off.
Every night, 7 p.m. it goes off.
Were you able to hear that, Tanny? You hung up on Tanny, didn't you?
No, you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, see, he's still there.
Were you able to hear his alarm going off?
What? No.
Sean's alarm.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, Sean's alarm went off and it muted you.
Oh.
So
I was just like running my mouth there for however long. And...
5 seconds or so.
It was about 5 seconds. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the machete order. I mean, I don't really care about 2 and 3 even. I mean, there really weren't any questions that really needed to be answered or needed to be shown by even having the prequels to begin with.
But I still liked them.
I didn't like them. I can't stand the prequels. I really can't.
Like I'll agree. 1 is an atrocious thing to watch.
It's
2 and
terrible.
3. 2 and 3 I will watch if it's on TV.
But you wait from 1983 until 1999, and that's what you get. I mean, you're gonna get jaded.
It was disappointing for sure.
Yeah.
I personally was I was really glad to see them when I saw them. It was one of the few breaks that I got when I was actually in the Army at the time. So I actually got to go watch them in the theater while I was in the military, which was kind of weird. But I awesomely had some Star Wars while I was in basic training.
Yeah, see, and that was a way for you to disconnect with what you were doing.
Of course.
And
so that in that way, I appreciate the prequels.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could take them or leave them. Of course, I have my favorite, which is probably everybody's fucking favorite. I'm Empire is obviously my favorite. It's a superior movie to all of the other movies.
Yeah, I think my favorite actually is Jedi, though. Just for sentimental reasons, because I actually got to go to the theater when it came out and saw it with my dad.
Nice.
But as far as quality of film goes, Empire beats it any day of the week.
Well, the problem with that I have with Empire is it just... I agree, it is a superior film from multiple aspects. It was like... Okay, and again, I was really young. I didn't see them in the theaters and didn't realize that there was another section or another movie coming at the time. But I remember being a small kid and being like,
"What the hell just happened?
What the hell just happened?"
the cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, the cliffhanger ending, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And again, I was probably 5 or 6 when I watched them the first time, so I didn't say "fuck" as much as I didn't do now. But yeah, you're like, what am I missing? Like, that was kind of what put me off of it. But I like it. I like the snow speeders. It's just I like the whole look of it. The snow effects and
one thing that always kind of got me though is how when the Jedi's train from when they're like little kids until they're adults, their whole lives be Jedi's. Mm-hmm. And then Luke does 3 flips and carries Yoda in a backpack, and he's
good to go. Yeah,
no, you're fine.
Right? Yeah.
It's kind of an abbreviated training program.
He didn't get steeped in the cult at all.
No, he didn't.
Like he didn't get any of the cult stuff.
No.
Any of the Yes, master. No.
Yeah.
Yes, master. No, master.
all
Cut your
that
hair.
for
Cut your hair all weird with the little pigtail.
Right, with the little thingy and the whole
But
thing.
but then again, maybe that
Midichlorians.
that's what allowed Luke to go rogue a little bit. Was that he wasn't he didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, he was just a badass doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Right. So whenever you look at him compared to other things about Jedi that you get now with cartoons and whatnot, you get all these things, and the prequels. The Jedi were serious badasses compared to Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah,
And
if
he's
you
considered to be this great Jedi master, I need to see some evidence of that.
be like, motherfucker, you haven't done shit.
After Episode 6, I want to see how he becomes this great Jedi master after that, because he doesn't really do much in Jedi that shows me that he's a Jedi master.
No.
I mean, he goes.
I want to see about what happened to Luke Skywalker between then and him being on an island, waiting on his spoilers daughter.
It's not gonna be his daughter.
It's not gonna be his daughter.
I swear to God, if it's his daughter, I'm walking out of the theater. I will. No, that is just lazy.
Yeah, that's too easy to do.
And even making it Han's daughter is too lazy.
Right.
No, there's no way that's Han's daughter.
They have to be related, though, right?
I don't think they have to be.
You don't think that they're going to do that? You don't think there's going to be some kind of relationship? That's the reason. Why the hell else would she be drawn to the lightsaber?
The only thing that I would really accept is if it's Kenobi's daughter or granddaughter.
That would be pretty fantastic.
That was the only one I'll accept is Kenobi.
Yeah.
Right, but then who did he break his vow with?
What vow, though? He was a Jedi. He was a member of the Jedi Order.
Yeah, you can't
never stopped being a Jedi.
Where in the movies does it ever say that?
Well, I'm sure what happened is he got drunk at Mos Eisley, once he's in hiding from Vader, and picked up a chick at the cantina there. And
Cantina's like, hey, what's going on?
Which is why he never knew about her, and never paid child support, never raised her or anything like that. So
deadbeat dad.
Yeah, deadbeat Kenobi.
Shot his midichlorians in her own gold.
So Kenobi shot first.
Da-da-da. Hey, yo.
Need the onka horn.
But you know what the weird thing is, too? Is that, and now that I think about it, talking about Luke being a badass, because you have him in Empire, since we were talking about that. And he does some, relatively cool things, nothing that I would call Jedi-worthy. But then, and then you fast forward into Return of the Jedi, and I always flash back to that scene where he's riding up the elevator with Darth Vader to go see the Emperor, and at that moment, Luke looks like a badass. He goes from this kid in Empire, looks like a young man, a kid who's kind of flailing around with a lightsaber, trying to look cool and trying to do some shit, and then all of a sudden he's standing next to Darth Vader, who he now knows as his father, and something about the way, and I don't know if it's intentional, but the way that scene is shot, Luke looks like a badass. He hasn't done anything super badass by that point, but he just has that
quiet, cool.
The quiet, cool.
All in black.
Yeah.
Mental focus.
Yeah, very mentally focused.
A lot of time to. Well, I say a lot of time. I don't. How much time supposedly passes between Empire and Jedi?
Like 3 years.
It's a few years. Yeah, so
it's
like 3 years to kind of meditate and learn and commune with dead Jedi and such. And once he's done all that stuff, then he's kind of maybe he can focus better. Because that's really the only improvement that I see.
Yeah.
From Empire to Jedi is that his focus and his athleticism is better.
Yes.
But other than that, it's the same. He's the same guy. He's basically just a relatively normal guy who also happens to be able to maybe move things with his mind a little bit and use a lightsaber.
So he hit the gym hardcore for 3 years. And...
Right? Yeah. He got in there. He did the heavy meditating.
Yeah.
That's what that was. Upside down, one hand.
Lifting the rock.
And, with Yoda on his foot. And...
Yeah, well, you didn't have Yoda by then. Then it was
No,
just
that's
him buying maybe R2D2. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe he finally figured out how he could lift that fucking X-wing. You know, he got his shit together.
Because size matters not.
Oh, and
That's
what
right.
I found a joke that I found hilarious. That the reason it took R2D2 so long to boot up after BB-8 found him was because he was installing Windows updates. That's why the boot process took so long.
Like 5,000 updates.
Yeah. You have 2,694 updates. Please wait.
Well, and, and if nothing else, I mean, the prequels kind of raised more questions than they answered.
That's also true.
Whoa.
Is that you?
What?
Were you moving shit around?
Well, anyway. But I think the prequels kind of raised more questions than they answered.
Yeah.
I mean, why would Kenobi not ever remember owning a droid when R2 is there every second of the prequel trilogy? Why was Obi-Wan Kenobi like 25 when Luke was born, but now he's freaking 90?
Yeah, and it's
Obi-Wan Kenobi is also a lying fucking piece of shit. I mean, that's
Wow.
not really like that dude lies like nobody's business throughout not only the original, episode 4, but also throughout the prequels. He's a fucking liar.
But still, I mean,
regularly just
But I mean,
whoppers.
I know,
with
but
a straight face.
I know, but Luke is born, and then he's 25, and he's 90.
Okay, yeah, that I can't explain.
And then why was R2D2 able to have like the oil streaks and then the jetpack and everything else he had, when now he's just a regular droid?
yeah, it's like going from modern.
Because they took those parts off when I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
See, that's exactly it. When it comes to some bullshit excuse, well, no, because
because we have the technology now and we can do this shit with CGI.
Or just go, take a page out of Kenobi's book. Well, from a certain
George
point
Lucas
of
wanted to
view,
fuck up her child. That's why.
What was that?
Because George Lucas is an evil man and he wanted to fuck up our childhoods. That's why. He's a terrible person.
No, he wanted to make more money. That's all it boiled down to.
And he's terrible.
And he's a terrible. No, I'm not going to say that about George.
What he did
One
to
love.
me.
So.
No hate.
Well, yeah, but
We
it's
love
like
you, George.
it's like
We love you,
yeah, I once knew your father, and Darth Vader killed him. No, motherfucker, I chopped off his goddamn legs and fucking burnt him in lava and his arms and burnt his ass in lava. Yeah, let's
He's so pretty.
He's fucking 17 years old. He can handle that. Be a man. Sack up. Let's do this.
Man up, Vader.
Man up, Vader. Fuck.
Quit your fucking whinging. Knock it off.
well, and then for
Little pussy.
and then for 3 whole movies,
Across the room.
and for 3 whole movies to make Vader into a bitch, the whole no thing.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
That's how you end it.
Yeah. With Vader being a bitch because he fucking killed some chick.
Well, I've got to say, though, it did make me understand where Luke Skywalker got being such a pussy little bitch.
Yeah.
By watching the prequels. Oh, look
That is
at
true.
his dad.
Look
A
at his
whiny little evil. He was the same.
So it's not Luke's
He was
fault.
that same. No. He totally just took after his dad. He was, the sister's tougher than he is. Leia's consistently. Leia is the tough one. I wish Leia would have been the one.
The badass.
And if George Lucas would have been more forward thinking, he would have made Leia the fucking hero of that story.
Well,
that would have been
so badass.
Originally,
Leia comes out and she's the one that wrecks shit. She's already the one that's like confident.
Yeah.
Right.
And smart and educated already. He's a farm boy. He doesn't even know how to spell. He's an idiot. So why do we need this kid?
Well, originally, Luke Skywalker was Hero Starkiller, who actually was a female character. So I wonder how much of that character bled into Leia's character.
Leia creating Leia from kind of the pieces that were left over
Right.
from that character.
Yeah.
And then Starkiller is the name, and I knew that about that character's name, Starkiller. Starkiller is what they then used before Starkiller Base, by the way, which is another reference.
Because
before that's the name of Vader's apprentice from the video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
exactly.
the Force
It's
Unleashed,
Starkiller.
yeah.
And because the Death Star works so well twice, let's make a third one.
Let's build another one. I got to beat JJ on that one. I get that you're trying to kind of reintroduce the brand to a whole new generation.
Yeah.
But did we really have to do a beat for beat movie? I mean, really? Did it have to be?
No. He could have done the throwbacks, but he could have taken it different.
And I like Episode 7 well enough. It's a good movie. It's entertaining. I had fun. I had the feels. It was great.
Absolutely. No.
I will truly be disappointed though if Episode 8 doesn't at least try to rival Empire for being something else entirely. Being a thing that really deepens the universe, because that's a big thing that Empire did. It broadened. It made it something much more kind of fascinating. It taught you something.
Yeah, but it kind of looks like they actually opened up for Luke, instead of being the Kenobi character, actually be the Yoda character in the next one.
You think so?
Well, because because he went and found Yoda on Dagobah. Mm-hmm. Rey went and found Luke on.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm guessing Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland.
It's New Zealand, isn't it?
Well, whatever. I don't know. Some green place.
It's always New Zealand.
I
don't know where it is.
I didn't see a trail of people walking with a freaking ring, so I'm assuming it's Ireland.
I hope they don't make it. He can't. There's no way. Because it can't. Rey cannot be Luke's daughter.
I really hope not.
There's don't. And I agree. There's got to be, and it depends on how you look at it, because the one scene I look back on in Episode 7 is the hug between Leia and Rey after Han died.
Right.
There is this look
between who?
Between Leia and Rey. When they basically the Star Killers destroyed, Han was murdered
by his son, right?
By his
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Ding-a-ling, who hasn't watched that?
If you haven't seen it yet,
it's too
you
far
can
out.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't take a fuck yourself to people.
Not on our podcast. Do that on your own podcast. We need people to listen.
That's right. I will. Don't worry.
But at the end, after they've won and they land back where they're at, and then there's this hug between Leia and Rey.
Right, and Leia runs right past Chewbacca, who's a much older friend.
Correct. Right to Rey.
And who is, just lost his fucking best friend, his brother.
Yeah.
And just what the fuck ever.
Fuck you, Chewie.
You go on.
Yeah.
Fucking giant ape thing. You just get out of here.
Yeah.
You're just the dog in this story. I'm going to hug this kid I've never fucking met.
Yeah, but the look that Leia gave indicated some sense of
girl on girl.
Not you, nasty motherfucker.
Hey.
Really?
Sexy time is
wow. That was nasty. I have this visual now of
yeah, you do.
Old Carrie Fisher and Slave Leia.
I'll take it.
You dirty slut.
I'd still do it.
just for the fact that you could say I did.
Just for the story.
Just for the story. But yeah, there's this.
No. Force Unleashed Leia. That's the one I got with.
Force Unleashed Leia.
Yeah, there you go. But there's this, I said, this
Awakened.
This familiarity that Leia has when she's looking at Rey, but not. I don't know. I don't know that it's.
Why the hell would they leave her abandoned on a desert planet?
And I don't get that. So they got to be taking it somewhere else.
They would just leave her. Okay, I'm sure she'll be fine living in an abandoned AT-AT. Yeah, she'll be all right.
Yeah.
Right,
no.
But so they thought that would be better than maybe. I mean, for reasons maybe that they saw the brother going down the path. Old Darth Emo.
Okay, go live with their aunt. Something. Don't abandon her on a planet.
Right. Well,
you know what? That's a good point, though.
They would leave some kind of contingency in place for her to be taken care of.
Because is there any reference to how old Kylo was when he went apeshit?
No, but I'm guessing it's probably akin to a school shooting.
Because
it's probably like the Jedi school.
16, maybe?
What's that?
like 15 or 16 then maybe.
Yeah. So
That name said.
yeah, it was probably like the excuse me, the Jedi version of Columbine or something. I'm guessing.
So yeah, because that was a good point. But then why would they have abandoned Rey at like 4 or 5? Because that's how old she looks.
Yeah.
When she has that flashback to.
With no plans to take care of her.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I blame that Jizz Whaler music.
The Jizz Whaler.
That's what did it. The kids, man, they're listening to that Jizz Whaler music, and it makes them go out and kill their young Jedi Padawan homies.
Yeah,
it's a terrible for the galaxy.
Yeah, so I really hope that Rey is not related to Han or Luke.
Yeah, like I said, there's some familiarity, but I can't say that it's.
Well, it's just like the rumors came out that Finn was Lando's kid, the only little black guy in the Star Wars universe.
Really?
That's what they're saying.
Make me mad.
That would make me mad. That's like the token black guy.
It's like that's the racist fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
How dare you, Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
What do you think about the homosexual relationship there
between Rey and Leia?
No, between
Finn and
Poe.
Poe Dameron.
Yeah. Dameron. Yeah. You know what? I hope so. That would be fantastic. I would totally be on board with that.
Because I've heard that rumors and I've watched that scene where he kind of looks at him. He's like, "Hey, that's my jacket," and just there's a little something there.
Romance there.
Yeah.
There's very least romance.
No,
I
don't
think so.
I'm feeling between me and you, Chris. I'm feeling this thing.
No. One love, baby. One love.
I really don't think that's going to happen, though. I mean,
is that going to kill your love of Star Wars if there's a?
There's no way. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's just I don't see between those two.
No.
Here's the thing. Even the only implied sex ever in Star Wars, or sexuality for that matter, was a married couple, which was Anakin and Padme. Like, that's literally the only time. It was like, oh, they had babies, so therefore they had sex. But
Han and Leia obviously did, because they had one kid at least.
Well, right, but before that, and that's like kind of off screen. And so is this. So referring to people as being, I don't know how you, kind of honestly portray that, other than just kind of the same kind of thing as like the flirtation between Han and Leia in the first couple of movies. You've got that thing going on. You could do that with two same gender characters. That would, I think, if they could pull that off and make it.
Well, I mean, if it came out organically through the story, but I don't think you should try to push that.
But I don't care. I don't care about the sexuality of any character in a Star Wars movie. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
You don't want to see some hot droid on droid sex.
Okay, maybe that. but for the sake of inclusiveness, that's great. But I don't see any need for it, because it's not something like I wondered. Like, okay, I did wonder what Yoda was into. What's Yoda's king?
What's his?
Let's start with, he's got 3 fucking little clawed fingers.
I think he's got a foot thing.
So what is his thing? And imagine the things you could do with the Force.
Ooh.
To yourself.
You can force choke yourself.
Force choke yourself.
You took it right where I was hoping you would take it.
Oh, shit. Oh, there I am.
That's right. You just hold yourself up against the wall with the Force. Starting to black out, trying to keep that one hand down low.
Hey, absolutely.
But that's the reason I want to have the Force.
Well, I mean,
It's the only reason I want to be able to use the Force.
I mean, I think 3PO is the first openly gay character they have, though.
You think so?
If droids go a certain way, 3PO is going to go that way.
The only reason I want the Force is so I can get the channel changer for the TV when I'm sitting on the couch and it's across the room.
Just whip it to your hand.
Whack! Yeah.
And, maybe shoot lightning at people.
Well, that'd be cool.
I mean, you could start your car. If your car ever, the battery died, just Yeah, you just hit it with force lightning, and off to work you go. You're on your way. You don't have to worry about jumper cables or getting some dude off the side of the road. Hey, jump me off! No, just
Yeah, I mean,
and you're off. Now, if it bounces back at you, it fucks your face up, and then you have some explaining to do. But
yeah, I don't think I don't really want the force so much. As I just want a lightsaber.
Yeah.
you would. How long before you lost at least a hand?
15 seconds.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Because I tried to twirl that bitch around and I would drop it and I tried to catch it.
Yeah, that's a high skilled weapon because you got to imagine there's no weight to that blade.
No, I would take baby steps.
And there's no. Would there be resistance at all? I mean, you're basically cutting.
It's light. I don't think so. It's light.
Yeah.
Is it light or is it plasma?
It's got to be a plasma because it cuts. It's like
it
cuts.
But you see it cut. There is no resistance anywhere. It goes right through everything.
Never, right? It just goes through. Now it does throw sparks
when they hit each other.
Hit metal or metal.
Yeah, you're right.
Spark on metal. But something like that with no real resistance to the blade or no heat to it.
Yeah, you're fucking yourself up.
That thing. I mean, how do you? Because it doesn't give you any reference really for where the blade is other than visual, which is why you have to have the force to use lightsaber.
That's a very good point.
I'd try it. I don't care.
You try it anyway. Well, yeah, of course. Well, I just want one of the double blades. Just ensure my death.
Yeah.
I want the one that's the one I want. Like, oh yeah, I'm going out. But you know how I died? Lightsaber.
I cut myself in half with a lightsaber.
Right. Fucking lightsaber. I went out like Qui-Gon. What's that? Oh, goddamn.
Yeah,
I can't help but throw references to prequels in. I can't help it.
No, because you should see the fucking steam coming out of his head right now.
Oh,
it's
I know
awesome.
they are.
Yeah, it's your tombstone. Here lies a pimp. Went out like a boss.
Like a boss. Fuck. Well, and then one of the things I have looked at in the extended universe is the multitude of different designs utilizing the quote unquote the lightsaber technology.
Like whips. And
the whips and all kinds of weird shit.
It's all kinky.
Oh,
it gets weird.
It does. There's some weird psi looking things, kind of like Kylo Ren's lightsaber, but dual shorters.
Lightsaber of Nine Tails.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh, kinky.
There's a whole thing, a whole run where Luke Skywalker and his wife, Mara Jade, they both use these lightsabers. They use two lightsabers, which is basically like the samurai used to, where they'd have the short sword and the long sword.
Yeah.
They both used that style for a while for some specific thing. I don't remember exactly what it was now, but for fighting some specific enemy, that's what they used. I think it was actually somebody using a whip that was kind of the same idea.
Oh, so they used it to counteract something.
Yeah. And so they went with all kinds of. I think mostly just because they could just make shit up.
Yeah.
And at least for a little while, Lucas was just like, fucking do whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then they finally just realized that it was just this gigantic roiling nightmare of just every single thing going against what the movies had to say and against what other books had to say. None of it actually matched up at all.
No, every author contradicted another author, and there was no
nutter all the way across the board. And so, it got to the point where it was ridiculous. I mean, you had books where there creatures from outside of that galaxy are actually feature heavily in some of those books.
Oh wow!
Like an entire civilization from outside attacking that galaxy. Like they ran out of inside the galaxy, mayhem to go on. It's like, you know what? I think we need bad guys from outside the galaxy, from a different galaxy. That's a great idea. Let's do that. It wasn't a great idea. It was stupid, but it was still fun.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I haven't.
Really, what Star Wars?
I haven't got
Star Wars should.
Oh, good. Good. Did we lose you?
No, he's still there.
Nope.
Oh.
I'm still here.
Oh, yeah. Like I was saying before, I haven't read any of the books. I've looked at a couple of them in the comics, but I've done, I like the video games like The Force Unleashed and some of those and stuff like that. And like I said, I was looking at it. It was actually I want to say it was a poster, but it had all the various iterations in the extended universe of different types of lightsabers. And I'm like, yeah, you could get weird with some shit. Like a trident and,
That's cool.
So, how long are we at now?
We're at 132 right now.
Really? It seems like... Shit, it's already 7:30. I gotta get going, too.
Yeah, well, I had a couple other things. Let's start out with the Force, not the Force Unleashed, but Rogue One, and we went way sideways with it.
It's Star Wars. We can go as sideways as we want.
That's true. It's a deep, deep hole.
I was just thinking, too, that, okay, we know, again, based on the prequel, because we like to see Sean roll his eyes, that Yoda counteracted Count Dooku's Force lightning. I believe doesn't
right into
Obi-Wan
just with his bare hand.
Yeah,
too.
Doesn't Obi-Wan at some point counteract Force lightning
with a lightsaber?
With a lightsaber,
I don't think he ever does it just with his bare hand.
So the two people that quote unquote mentor Luke in the Force, not one of those motherfuckers showed him how to counteract fucking lightning, and he gets zapped to the shit in fucking Return of the Jedi. Almost dies.
Yeah, though, I mean, it's kind of funny when you look at what happens in Jedi. Well, see, I'd have to refer back to a fucking prequel for this.
Do it. Do it,
all
Doug.
right.
Do it, Doug.
Anyway,
don't encourage him.
I'll do it. So when the lightning bounces back to Palpatine in the Revenge of the Sith, it fucks his face all up and melts him basically.
Mm-hmm.
But when he hits Luke with it, it doesn't melt him and shit. It just kind of, I mean, he gets like smoke rising from him, and you can like see his hair standing up and shit. But it doesn't really hurt him that badly. It doesn't even mess up his electronic arm.
Yeah.
It doesn't do any of that stuff.
That's just one more way the prequels ruined the original trilogy.
Well, I'm still mad because they didn't have the lightsaber that said "bad motherfucker" on it anymore. But
that was just the one.
I know.
You heard that, right?
What's that?
Mace Windu's lightsaber hilt actually says "bad motherfucker" on it.
That's awesome.
Because it's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. It had to be
That's
purple.
bad.
It had to be purple, and it had to say that. That was like in his contract.
I'd give that motherfucker whatever the hell he wanted.
Oh, speaking of Easter eggs, I don't know, maybe you guys have heard of this. J.J. Abrams, he's a giant Beastie Boys fan, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
If you've watched the fucking Star Trek movies, he throws Beastie Boys songs around like they're candy.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's not cheap.
No,
so
it's not.
He, in the Star Wars sense, of course, you can't fuck with the score in Star Wars. It's John Williams or nothing. And I think that's rightly so. Oh, God, if I ever heard popular music in a Star Wars movie, I'd fucking have to kill somebody.
Yeah.
It would be terrible.
There would be nerd rampage.
Yeah, it would be awful. But, what?
I said I've had a problem with having like well-known actors in the movies.
Yeah.
Because we
right. Even that can be a little jarring. You're right.
I mean, Samuel L. Jackson was kind of a culture shock, and now there's Forrest Whitaker in the new one. I mean, they're really well-known actors, and you're going to see them as.
I want to see him give somebody the Force eye. I want to see it.
The Force.
that one lifted eyebrow, that big GI on one side. Yeah, that was the look. Yeah, that was his go-to whenever he was doing some Force shit. He was like, "Oh, you Force shit, okay," and that was the look.
You see that eye come open, you're like, "Oh fuck, shit's about to get real."
But one of the what I was going to say, another Easter egg in The Force Awakens. One of the Resistance pilots, the one with the weird face, it was kind of hangy. On his helmet, he's got "License to Ill" like the Star Wars alphabet.
No shit.
On his helmet. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
It says that on the helmet.
That is awesome.
Or "Born to Ill." That's what it says.
Had what?
This is "Born to Ill." That's what it
Born
says.
That is cool.
So that's that's how he got his little one of his little favorites in there, because he seems to put something to do with the Beastie Boys and everything.
Yeah, because on the Star Treks, it's the main trailer. It's there's a Beastie Boy.
Sabotage.
Yeah,
that first. Yeah,
that's cool.
So, which I agree with. I'm perfectly happy with anything Beastie Boys.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, we're at an hour 38 right now.
Yeah,
and I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
So we'll
no sleep
till Brooklyn.
No sleep till like an hour from now.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I gotta go to work in the morning.
No, but we'll definitely have to have you back.
Definitely.
Maybe something with a subject that I'll actually do a little
research on.
There
you go, and then hopefully it'll be another 10 years before we talk again.
Well,
and don't die in the meantime.
Don't die.
Yeah, I'll try.
Were you recording that?
What's that?
Were you recording that whole?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because that's gonna be some. Yeah, glad you're not dead.
Yeah, yeah, that was all recorded, but
and not introducing me at all. It was like some M. Night Shyamalan shit. It's like at the end, here's the twist.
Yeah,
he's dead. That's what. That's what happened.
He was dead the whole time.
I'm actually dead the whole time. I know.
Shit.
All right, and be sure to keep your eyes peeled or ears peeled, whatever, for the If Left Untreated podcast, which that has to be the name, man. It's got to be the name, no matter what it is, whatever the ideation is. That's got to be the name.
That's definitely the name. That's still the name. It's the name of my blog. I still do that sometimes.
Right on, man.
So just lazy, really, more than anything.
All right, Taylor, take it easy, man. All right.
All right, guys.
We'll talk to you later, bro.
See you.
All right.
I'm talking to that guy, and it's been like over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, thought he was dead.
That's fucking awesome.
Who knew?
Who knew?
All right, well, for the Geeks Talk Back, I'm Sean.
I'm Chris.
And we're signing off.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. The Force will be with you, always.